dreaming of a true love's kiss, and a prince I'm hoping comes with this. That's what brings ever aftering so happy.
What's up, you guys? It's Julie here, and I am here to talk about Librarians episode 209 and the Happily Ever After. Whee! I just got this today when I went Christmas shopping for my friends, and I, love it. So I'm just gonna leave that there. Try not to be too distracted. Maybe I'm just wearing this because this is a wonderful Christmas present. And yay! Okay, so we have been waiting for episode 209 since the episode description came out when they talked about, hey, librarians are going to be in their own happily ever after. And what did that mean? And oh my god, it's terrifying. And then we get to Comic-Con and Christian Kane says there's in the alternate universe something with Cassandra. I'm not sure if it got cut, but we had a lot of fun with that. So I was anxiously awaiting that episode. And then in 205, Flynn went away and they were fighting, and we knew the next episode they were going to be in together was episode 209. And as the set pictures and the trailers, behind the scenes stuff got more and more, we saw that there was going to be 2 Evlynn kisses, and we were speculating, and we waited all week after the premiere, the promo last week, and now it's finally here. Yes! And it was just as amazing as I would hoped it would be. Now, apparently that Cassandra scene, whatever it was, did get cut. But the good news is, if they filmed something, that means they've thought about it. And we know they've thought about it because what they've already given us in season 3, and honestly, maybe they just didn't want to give anything away. Also, big news that I don't remember if I talked about in the last episode, and I don't think I did because I think the news just came out on, Monday, Tuesday-ish. But the big news is season 3, you guys! We did it! We're getting season 3. We are getting another season of our favorite show, and it's possibly going to be more than 10 episodes. Dean Devlin said he's working on it. There's a good chance we will get more than 10 episodes, but either way, we are getting season 3. We're getting more Evlynn, more Cassandra, more Ezekiel Jones, more Jenkins, more of our favorite show and our favorite librarians on our screens. And this is not going to be the end, however it does end. So, the episode started just like I predicted it would, with Flynn running into the library and asking Jenkins where Eve is, and he doesn't know who he's talking about. Now, I had originally predicted that he was going to be like, Eve, he's running in, trying to make up with her, but Jenkins is I don't know who you're talking about, but he did. It was partially what I thought it was going to be, and that was really cool. I'm just so focused on, especially in this episode, how we see constantly in this season, even when they're fighting, how much Flynn loves Eve, how much he adores her. I mean, even when he's mad at her and he's telling Jenkins he's avoiding her, he's talking about how wonderful her eyes are, and we're going to get to more of the Evlynn in a little bit, because that's what this entire episode, and that's all I focused on. So what I did love about the Happily Ever After is that I love how it was not just alternate versions of their lives. It was literally kind of like an AU fanfiction where their lives were pretty much the same, but they met and they lived in a different way. So yeah, they were all together, working together, recovering lost artifacts of the town in a bar filled with books. So it was really like a rewrite, a very retelling of the Librarians, a non-magical retelling of their lives. And each of them had their own happy ending. Ezekiel as an FBI agent, and Cassandra was an astronaut, and Cassandra Killian, the science gal. Cass. And Jake was a professor, with all these different degrees, and yet they still and Eve wants to settle down. Rather than being a soldier, Eve wants to settle down, and these are supposed to represent their happily ever afters. Now, the scariest thing about the whole concept for me, especially from last week's trailer, was that Eve's happily ever after included Moriarty. But I think what we discovered was that it was more of what Moriarty represented in that town. Now, also, Moriarty was under the spell, which means it was his happily ever after too. So Moriarty's happily ever after might be Eve, which we did see. What we did see at the end of the episode is that Moriarty's happily ever after is Eve, but Eve's happily ever after is not Moriarty. Eve's happily ever after is settled down in a small town where she has like a steady relationship, steady job, steady friends, and a steady life. And I think in this alternate universe, that's what Moriarty represented for her. Also, you can see I am being full out excited because I am officially done with performances for December. I was sick this week, but I no longer have to save my voice. I can just bake cookies and wrap presents and be happy because it's Christmas and we've got the Librarians. And I just wanted to mention that because I'm actually really happy about it. So I'm lost my train of thought. So I wanted to talk about like humor before I get into all the shippy stuff. My favorite line, some of my favorite lines came from that opening bar scene where Flynn's like, how can Ezekiel Jones be an FBI agent? He's like 15 years old, and he's Australian. The 15 years old is what got me, because I remember when I found out in between the two seasons that John Kim was 21 and probably like 19 when they filmed the first season, and I'm like, what? And he wasn't really portrayed as that on the show, but now this season they are addressing that Ezekiel's a lot younger than the rest of them, and like how he said he was the baby brother, and I love it. And the other, like, Cassandra looking at him like, I bet you don't even like ponies. And he's like, I adore ponies. But anyway, on to the big guns. We've got Evlynn. Yay! I also loved Ariel. Ariel was fantastic. She was Scottish, and I just loved her. She was a little fairy zipping back and forth. I hope we get to see more of her because I liked her a lot. So Flynn has to drag them all back, trick them all back to the library, which I thought was really clever, how they used them being chased to get them back to the library. And this whole episode, Flynn's been jealous, and Flynn cannot even focus on the mission. All Flynn is focused on is that Eve is with Moriarty, and he's like, it shouldn't be that way. She should be with me. And he's just so in love with her, like I said, always so in love with her, always so focused on them, and I think that really represents how internally he wants, as much as he's been avoiding her, both of them want the relationship back. They want to fix it, and I think we can safely say after this episode, they are going to have their relationship, even though we haven't seen their conversation yet, because again, so much magic, they haven't had time to. I think they are well on their way to talking about it, and like Eve said, fighting for it. But basically, so he puts them all in the Bloomer's ring, whatever it was called. I have to watch the episode again. But he tells them each who they are, and he's about to tell Eve who she is. And he's like, I'll get back to you. And he looks in each of their eyes, these people that you thought that he didn't even know who they are, and he is able to tell them detailed things about who they are, and so much character growth for Flynn in this episode, and I am so proud of him that he got to this point to be able to talk about his team and be proud of them. And no, he's not the only librarian. But the best part of this whole scene is that she's like, I don't think you did me already, I think. And he says, don't think, just be Eve. He leans in, kisses her, a light comes, the spell light comes, and she remembers, and it was true. Love's kiss, and I was like, when I saw the trailer, I'm like, and I see him kissing her, I'm like, oh, maybe that'll break the spell, maybe it'll be true love's kiss, ha 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 ha, but it was, and Ariel was like, oh, true love's kiss, that's in like every fairy tale, every story, and then it happened again, because then, after Flynn is able to break them all from the spell, he ends up under the spell, which I found really interesting, and that his happily ever after is solving puzzles. But what I want to talk about is how, in his happily ever after, he did not forget Eve. So, yes. Because they were made up, and, he did not forget Eve, he just wanted to be solving puzzles, and Jenkins is that, and then Eve kisses him, and again, true love's kiss, he remembers, and he has to put the talisman there, and in that moment, we get so much character growth for Flynn when he tells his story, and he says, I am a librarian, not I am the librarian, I am a librarian, and I used to run around solving magic, and I thought that was all I needed. And he looks at Eve and he says, but now I know I needed more. And the whole scene, the way Eve is smiling at him, she's so happy and she's so proud of him and he's her Flynn. And then everything is back to normal. Everything is fixed except they've been gone for 3 weeks and it's the end of the world. But before we talk about next week, I want to talk about the moment that I just forgot to mention, which was when Eve was talking to Moriarty in the theater. And Moriarty says that he's fighting for her, and he asked Prospero to give her this, to make her this alternate reality so that she didn't get destroyed because he doesn't want her to get destroyed. And she's crying, and she tells him, but that's not love. Love is hard, and it's difficult, and it's ups and downs, but you have to fight for love because that's reality. Like, love is reality. And that's the reality of love. And that represents to me that she loves Flynn. I mean, she hasn't said it like the words like he said, like, I love Eve Baird. But she has said that love is hard. And the last thing we saw of her and Flynn is that they're fighting. They're going through a difficult time. But love is hard. And so, you know, basically at this point, even though Eve has not said the words directly, basically at this point they have both admitted that they love each other. And now we're just waiting for them to admit it to each other. Which I do think now that it hasn't happened in this episode, I do think it will happen in the finale. So, finale next week, season 2 finale. Wow, that came fast. And I'm excited. I am so excited because it's gonna be just like last season. We get an even Flynn-centric. They're going off on an amazing adventure together, back in time, except this time they both know who the other one is. So they can kind of just, yeah, come on. As Eve would say, as Eve told that lady in the town not to do, they can just go make out in the woods. Whatever. But the only thing that concerns me is that, like Jenkins says, they're never coming back. So we'll see. We shall see, because we've got season 3 now, and because they weren't confirmed for season 3 at first, I don't think they'll leave us at a cliffhanger. But you never know. I don't know how TV shows do it. Maybe they film 2 endings, a cliffhanger and a non-cliffhanger, and then if they get confirmed for a new season, before the season ends, they'll use a cliffhanger ending. If not, they'll use a non-cliffhanger ending. I don't know. We shall see. Either way, I know good things are going to happen for Evlynn. They already have happened. I hope good things happen for Cassandra. If nothing more happens, which I honestly do not think it will, I am very satisfied with what we got this season. And next week I will film my single episode review, and then I'm writing a season 2 song to summarize all of season 2, and I also want to I might do a season 2 summary video, and then to close everything off, I am going to make a video on New Year's about my year with the Librarians fandom, because the beginning of this year was when I entered into this fandom, and I want to talk about what a wonderful year it's been with this show and this fandom in my life. So, that was an amazing episode. True Love's Kiss, Evlynn is fine, hilarity, and AUs. It was everything we could have hoped it would have been. And I'm Julie, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye, you guys. Merry Christmas, because when I see you next, it will be December 27th. So Merry Christmas. Bye.